everyone. Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Do I got my mic on? Where my mic at? Hopefully y'all can hear me. Don't put my mic on. Y'all, my apologies for the delay for tonight's episode. But I refuse to put my grandson on camera. So, with that being said, welcome to tonight's episode of Life A UnMothered, the 9th episode. Y'all, we at number 9 already. We at number 9. Wow, I can't believe it, right? So, I'm excited. I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited for tonight's episode. So, with that being said, y'all, let me try to get this together. Try to get this together. Okay, so first and foremost, thank y'all. This book is really gaining traction, y'all. I am so excited about what this book is doing for people in people's lives, and that is actually getting traction. So I just want to say I thank y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for supporting this book and supporting me. That means so much to me. It really does. We not gonna I'm not gonna prolong the show because I already prolonged it enough. However, I just want to say, man, God is good. God is good. Just this morning, I got another blessing, y'all. Oh my God! And this one is it's like, whoa, y'all. Oh, so but I don't reveal what's going on right now until it actually happens, and then I can pop on and be like, y'all, take a look, y'all, this, that. But I did do my very first global international interview on the inspirational talk show the other day. So I'm very grateful for that. Y'all stay tuned. That's going to be on her YouTube channel. Also, she does a podcast that is hosted on all streaming platforms. So iHeartRadio, Series, all those platforms you can actually listen to the podcast. So all of that I will announce the dates of when it's going to be released. So y'all pay attention and be blessed by the episode, y'all, because it was truly amazing. Let me read my statement piece and we're going to jump right on into this episode tonight. This show was born from pain I never deserved and the healing I fiercely fought for. I know what it's like to be unmothered, to grow up without the nurture, protection, or the love I needed. To be raised in trauma told me to stay silent and expect to smile through it all. But I also know what it's like to break the cycles, y'all. Reclaim your voice and rewrite your story. My mission, my life's purpose, is to shine a light on childhood trauma and abuse and the pain that most people are too scared to talk about, and to expose the wounds we were taught to hide and help others rise from them too. This isn't just a show. This is a movement, a mirror, and a safe house for truth. It's for the ones who were told to get over it, but never had the chance to process it. It's for the inner child still wanting to be seen. Because healing isn't just personal, it's generational, y'all. And I'm not just healing for me, I'm healing for my lineage and helping others do the same. So if you ever felt unseen, unloved, or unmothered, you are not alone. And we are healing together, y'all. Tonight's episode, let me do my disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist, but I am a transformational life coach. I am a transformational life coach, and I am just bringing forth awareness of things that already been researched. That's all I'm doing is just bringing awareness because we don't hear about these things in our community. And so we have to put a name to our trauma in order for us to recognize the patterns that we carry within us that has been passed down from our generations prior to us, that has layered itself on top of us, right? So until we can bring awareness to our patterns that we carry, we cannot change what we don't name. It's just plain and simple. So tonight's episode, we are discussing mirroring when it comes to generational trauma. I know. I before I had never heard this word either. I promise y'all, I've never heard this word, but it's mirroring when it comes to generational trauma. So y'all, let's jump into this episode tonight. So what is mirroring? It's a psychology. Mirroring refers to unconscious. Y'all know I always talk about the unconscious because we carry a lot of stuff unconsciously, right? So it refers to the unconscious act of reflecting someone else's behaviors, emotions, or coping mechanisms. When it comes to generational trauma, children often mirror their parents. Did y'all hear what it said? You know what? I need the people that's in a backpack to come on up and have a seat in the front. Come on up to have a seat in the front. This is for them parents that say, F them kids. I don't know why they behaving like this. I don't know. You know, you telling people your children got a mental illness. That was a label on me from my parent. That I ain't got nothing to do with their behavior. Y'all come to the front. Come to the front on this episode. Listen to this, y'all. When it comes to generational trauma, children often mirror their parents. Beliefs, behaviors, coping strategies, and unhealed wounds, right? So the beliefs are about love, safety, money, and worthiness. The behavior is emotional shutdowns, people pleasing, rage cycles. Coping strategies equals silence, denial, substance use, and avoidance. And unhealed wounds equals repeating patterns without realizing it. Did y'all hear what it says? Repeating patterns without realizing that you actually doing it. So it says, it's giving it a quick example. It says, if you grew up watching your mother tolerate emotional neglect, you might unconsciously choose partners who treat you the same way, because that's the normal your nervous system learned. Y'all. How many toxic relationships out there? I know I had my fair share, you know. So we're going to keep going. So it says how mirroring works in families. How does it work in families? Generational trauma doesn't just live in the stories told. It's felt, it's seen, it's observed. Emotional modeling, right? Children don't learn emotional regulations from instructions. They mirror what's modeled. Y'all, come on. Your children mirror what's modeled. Yep. If anger was suppressed, you might struggle to express yours. If affection was rare, intimacy may feel unsafe. Inherited beliefs and scripts from mirroring, right? Family passed down rules like, we don't talk about feelings here. Loyalty to family is everything, no matter what. Love has to be earned. How you going in a family? love got to be earned in your family? It says trauma is stored in the body. Kids observe stress patterns, tightness, hypervigilance, avoidance before they even have words. Before the children even talk, y'all. Before they even talk. So what is that? What is that, like from newborn all the way up to what they start saying they first words at 3, 2, something like that? They already in survival mode. Or can you even imagine that? Because they mirroring your behaviors already. It says before they even have words, y'all. Generational mirroring happens because, why does it happen? The nervous system craves familiarity. Even if it's unhealthy, your body chooses what feels known over what feels safe. Your body chooses what feels known. Trauma, verbal abuse, domestic violence, emotional neglect. Your body, it said your body chooses what feels known over what feels safe, right? Attachment wounds. Children copy their caregivers to maintain connection. Survival depends on it. Lack of emotional language. If your family don't name feelings, you inherited silence. Y'all, come on. Come on. We can't talk about our emotions in the family. We get punished for that. So instead of us learning how to express ourselves, we pass on silence. And that keeps getting passed down. It keeps getting passed down, y'all. Signs you're mirroring generational trauma. These are the signs that you are mirroring generational trauma. You might be mirroring patterns if you notice. This is if you notice. You repeat toxic relationship dynamics you swore you'd avoid. You feel guilty for setting boundaries with family. You parent the way your parents did. Did you? Somebody needs to hear that. You parent the way your parents did, even if you disagree with it. You still do it. You carry shame or silence that isn't originally yours. Did y'all hear that? We carry shame. We carry silence that is not originally ours. You feel stuck between who you are and who your family raised you to be. Come on, y'all. Who are you versus who your family raised you to be? And a lot of us don't know who we are because we mirrored from the beginning, right? You said silence is bad as the screams. No, yes. Come on, sis. Yes. But we passed that down. We passed silence down because we mirrored it. It says mirroring is how generational trauma sustains itself. But awareness creates the gap where you get to choose differently. You can break the cycle by becoming the model your younger self needed. Right? So let's go a little bit deeper into what this mirroring is, y'all. Let's go a little bit deeper. The deeper psychology of mirroring isn't learned behavior. It's wired into your nervous system. Nobody told us this, y'all. No, nobody told us this growing up. We had no clue this stuff that even existed. Survivor Survival through adaptation. Adaption. As children, we study our caregivers like a mirror. If they frown, we frown. If they suppress emotions, we suppress ours. It's not conscious. It's a survival instinct, right? The nervous system blueprint. It said trauma impacts the body before the mind. Do y'all hear that? Trauma impacts our body before the mind. Your nervous system learns patterns of safety and danger through your parents' reactions. Even if nobody talks about the trauma out loud. I told y'all, them for the parents that's in the back bay. Y'all come up front here and have a seat in the front. Yeah. What you say? Sis said your parents made you. God created you. God said you are freely and wonderfully made, set apart, head and not the. Come on, sis. Come on, y'all. So it says, if conflict led to screaming, your nervous system may equip disagreement with danger. If love was withdrawn as punishment, you may chase people pleasing to keep relationships. How many people pleasers out there? How many people pleasers are out there? Right? So it says how mirroring shows up in generational trauma. Here are real life example where mirroring is at play. If your parents stayed in a toxic relationship, you might normalize emotional neglect or abuse. Y'all, you might normalize that, right? If your parent was emotionally unavailable, you may unconsciously choose patterns who create the wound. Y'all, whew, that one stung with me. That one, that stung with me. Cause I know how many relationships I tried to hold on to that was just toxic as hell. Right? So it says it shows up in your parenting. You might yell at your kids the way your parents yelled at you. Even when you swore you wouldn't. What you say, sis? We perish because of lack of knowledge. General means to face destruction over spiritual and the results of it. What am I just saying? God teach. Come on. Come on. Y'all, my sis preaching in the comments. Come on, sis. You said, once upon a time, that was me. Yes. Yes. Idolizing people. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So it says, or you swing to the opposite extreme and overcompensate, but that can still come from an unhealed place, y'all. It says boundaries and silence. If your family avoided conflict, you might fear speaking up even as an adult. If loyalty was weaponized, y'all, family comes first. Guilt may show up every time you try to set a healthy boundary. Come on, y'all. Come on. Generation beliefs. Things like we don't talk about what happened in this house. We have to work twice as hard to be worthy. Love is proven through sacrifice, not rest, right? These rules get mirrored unconsciously until you start questioning them. Until It takes one person to start questioning, like, this ain't right. This is not right. It takes that one person to start questioning these things, right? So it said, mirror is a proof that trauma doesn't disappear with time. This statement right here is for the people that say, well, they grown now, they should have been over that. Really? Really? Mirroring is proof that trauma doesn't disappear with time. It transfers into behaviors, beliefs, and coping mechanisms until someone interrupts the cycle. That someone can be you. It's going to stay until someone interrupts the cycle. That's what it's going to do. It's going to keep repeating itself over and over, generations and generations, right? These, so we're going to come back to that, y'all. It says mirroring, how mirroring begins. Mirroring starts before you even have words. As children, you learn about safety by observing how caregivers react to stress. You learn about love by noticing when affection is given or withheld. You identity by normalizing the family's expectations. Belonging by mirroring behaviors that keep you accepted. You mirror behaviors just to keep you accepted in the family, y'all. Because children depends on caregivers for survival, their nervous system is normally mimicked patterns. Their nervous system is mimicked patterns, even if those patterns are harmful. If silence kept me safe, this is what a child thinks. If silence kept me safe, I'll stay quiet. If anger earned me attention, I'll explode more often. Is this your child? Was this you? I need for y'all to bring awareness. Is this you or your child? Is this a pattern that you hold or that you seen it in your child? Because if you see it in your child, they mirror it in that. From the caregiver. It says from the caregiver. Meaning the parent. Ways mirroring shows up. Generational trauma influenced nearly every part of our lives. Let's break it down. Emotional mirroring. Children observe how emotions are expressed or suppressed. If anger equals danger, you may avoid conflict at all costs. If crying equals weaknesses, you might shame yourself for feeling. Right? This for you men too. You know, because what they tell you, man, you can't cry. That's for weak. That's that's weakness. Okay. If love is inconsistent, you might crave validation yet fear intimacy. Your relationship mirroring. You unconsciously seek out dynamics that feel familiar. Repeating toxic relationship patterns, choosing emotional unavailable partners, becoming the fixer or the people pleasers to earn love. Y'all, do y'all understand? Like, even with me being aware and me noticing and me seeing things now in the clear, like my vision is so clear when it comes to this because I'm steady learning every day about trauma, right? And so I can just see people that are fixers in their family, and it's just like they don't see it because it's unconscious and it's normalized to them, right? So they running here, they running there, they running here, they running there, causing war within themselves. Don't really want to do it, but unconsciously They are the fixer of the family. And that's their way to show that they earn in love by keep doing that. Y'all. Parenting mirrors. Even with the best intentions, unhealed trauma shows up in parenting. Reacting instead of responding. Yelling the way you were yelled at, even when you swore you wouldn't. Overcompensating by doing the opposite of what your parents did, but still acting from an unhealed place. Right? It says, families pass down scripts and rules without even saying them out loud. Parents will pass down scripts and rules without even saying them out loud. Family comes before everything. Don't question authority. We don't talk about feelings here. Asking for help is weakness. These become part of our inner voice, shaping how you see yourself in the world. It shapes how you see yourself and the world. Yeah. It says, signs you're still mirroring trauma. You act in ways you promised yourself you wouldn't. You feel guilty for setting boundaries. You're stuck in toxic family roles. The fixer, the scapegoat, and the peacemaker. You struggle to identify your own voice separated from your families. Y'all, come on, man. Come on. You normalize dysfunction because it's what your nervous system knows. Right? Common mirrored patterns in generational trauma. Generational trauma doesn't just get passed down in stories. It's programmed patterns into our nervous system, relationships, and identity. These patterns become normal until we step back. It said they are normal until we step back and examine them. These are the breakdown. Emotional expression patterns. What's mirrored? You mirror silence. You mirror explosive anger. You mirror avoidance. And you mirror emotional shutdowns, right? When a caregiver was raised in an unsafe environment, they are often never learned emotional regulations. If they were allowed to express emotions, they unconsciously modeled suppression. And you mirrored it to survive. Y'all, I know it's a lot of information to take in, right? Because we never heard this in our community. Nobody go around talking about oh, I'm mirroring. We don't do that, right? We just don't, because everything toxic was normalized to us, because 9 times out of 10, that's all we got was toxicity, right? That's it. Because how can someone pass down healthy if they have never seen healthy? They passing down what was passed down to them. That's it. That's all. And then on top of that, we got handed something. We was born like this, pretty much. Where something was already handed to us, unbeknownst, unknown, unnamed. We just had our hand already ready to grab it and make that normal. Even though it was hurting us, we didn't have a name for our hurt. So we seen where our parents say, we don't talk about that. So we learned to hush. We learned to be seen and not heard. We learned those things from our parents, right? So that's when you get people, and this is all so real. You get children and adults that will never tell you, or they will wait until their later years in life to reveal something so traumatic that happened to them because you taught them to hush. Hush meant safety, right? And so that allowed us to keep secrets. And so that's why people actually wait till their parents pass away in order to tell people what happened to them, right? For number one, they feel safe now because their parents is no longer here, right? To punish them, to traumatize them, to shame them, tell them, no, you shouldn't talk about that. No, those parts. But like I tell people, my waiting was, I was dying inside. I was dying inside. I couldn't wait. Like, I struggled enough. I struggled enough with holding that. But y'all just gotta be conscious. We have to be conscious of aware of the patterns that we hold, that we're continuously passing down like it's an heirloom. Like, here, you take this trauma, I'ma pass you all of mine. Because that's what we do. We pass our children all of it because why? That's all we got to pass. Right? Let's keep going. Families assign unspoken rules for survival. And they get mirrored through generations. Did y'all hear that? Common rules. The caregiver / the fixer. I have to keep everyone okay. The scapegoat. I'm always the problem. The golden child. My worth comes from being perfect. The peacemaker. If I keep everyone calm, I'm safe. How it shows up. You feel trapped in obligations that aren't yours. You overfunction for others, underfunction. You carry guilt and shame for dynamics you didn't create. Denial. Nothing's wrong. I'm fine. That's what we tell ourselves when we mirror. Overachievement. If I succeed, I'll finally be loved. It's so many achievers, overachievers out there because of this. If I succeed, I'll finally be loved. If I get another award, I'll finally be loved. If I get another degree, I'll finally be loved. That's a lot of expectation and exhaustion at the same time, right? Addiction, using substance, food, or work to numb your pain. I was guilty of that. I did that. People pleasing, trading authenticity for acceptance. You trade being authentic for being accepted. When trauma is never processed, listen to this, y'all. When trauma is never processed, it's passed down strategies for survival instead of tools for healing. Overworking to prove your worth. Using distractions to avoid deep pain. That was me. That was me so bad. Feeling unsafe when you try to slow down and rest. Right? It says, generational trauma often comes with scripts, rules about love, safety, success, and work. Family comes before everything, no matter the cost. Speaking up equals disrespect. You have to earn love. You don't need therapy. We fine. You don't need therapy. We fine. How it's going to keep showing up in your life? Staying silent to keep the peace. Feeling shame for going to therapy or setting boundaries. Struggling to believe you're unworthy to rest, joy, or have ease in your life. Right? y'all. This one right here, really touch home for me. Because this right here, I'm sorry, y'all, I had to take a moment. This one touched home for me, right? So it says, breaking love and loyalty beliefs without guilt. Recognizing the inherited scripts. These beliefs aren't your fault. They were handed to you by people trying to survive. So you should ask yourself, who taught me this rule? What did they gain from believing it? Who benefits if I keep living like this, right? Separate love from obligation. Generational trauma confuses love with debt. Generational trauma confuses love with debt. You are taught to stay silent to keep the peace. Give endlessly, even when you're depleted. You give endlessly, even when you're depleted. Forgive them without accountability. I don't know how many times I did. Oh, God. To heal, redefine love. Love is mutual. Love should be safe. And love doesn't require your suffering. Love without respect isn't love. Loyalty without safety is not loyalty. Right? So, this one right here is when I told people, and this right here is a lot of people don't know that this is a part of healing. This part of healing right here, and recognizing and bring awareness to this part right here that I'm about to mention, is one of the hardest things that you have to do in healing, right? But it's doable. It's doable. But nobody told us that it's a part of healing and awareness. Y'all, let's jump into this. Grieve the idolized family. It says, here's the truth. Healing requires mourning what you wish your family could be. Grieve the parent who couldn't protect you. Grieve the siblings who chose silence. Grieve the fantasy that loyalty guarantees love. This grief frees you to accept reality without resentment and choose differently moving forward. It says, this is one of the hardest but most transformative parts of healing generational trauma. This is where people get stuck. I told y'all, this is where people get stuck. We set boundaries, rewrite beliefs, and break cycles. But until we grieve the family we wish we had, the old wounds keep pulling us back. Unless you grieve the family that you wish you had, the old wounds gonna keep pulling us back, right? You can't heal what you can't. You cannot heal what you keep pretending was okay. I'm gonna let y'all sit on that for a minute. You cannot heal what you keep pretending was all right. Now, Grant, like I told y'all, we no, everybody didn't have, no, I don't know everybody's life story, okay? But if you can resonate with me, this is who I'm talking to. I told you I'm not made for everybody, but if you can resonate with me, this is who I'm talking to, okay? You can't keep pretending that everything is okay when it's not, right? We can talk about the good days all day long. Everybody had some good times with their parents. Everybody had great times, laughter. I can write a whole book about the beautiful times that I had with my mother. I can tell y'all that all day long. I can do that all day long. But who gonna sit down and really tell y'all the parts that sat with you for years because it was a regular Tuesday or Monday for them, right? They don't think about that. And we mirror their behavior. We see that. How many times have we seen our parents in a domestic relationship, right? And they stay and they stay and they stay and they stay and they say that only made us stronger. But what is the damage did it do to the children? They don't think about that. We don't think about that. We really don't. Because that part was normalized. That was normalized for us. Right? And we repeat that. We run to partners that's not there for us. They're emotionally unavailable for us. You know? And it's okay. Because all you do is go to work, come home. Y'all might sit on the couch, watch a movie, but there's no connection. We doing this out of routine. Right? So, number one, it says, what idolized family means. The idolized family is a fantasy. Did y'all hear what it said? An idolized family is a fantasy. The one you needed growing up but didn't get. It's the version of your family where it's in our family, it's the version in our mind, it's the version of the family that we wanted parents to show unconditional love. Siblings protect instead of compete, right? Home feels like safety instead of survival. But when you grow up in a dysfunction, that family keeps you, that fantasy keeps you trapped, it says. You keep going back, hoping this time will be different. And that's why I tell people, children like me that went completely no contact, that wasn't an overnight thing. We kept trying to go back. We wanted it to be different. We kept trying and trying and trying and trying. While we getting depleted. So eventually we said, enough is enough. Like, I'm worthy to be loved without having to keep proving and overdoing and fixing and pleasing. And why I gotta do all that to be accepted in my family? I shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. But growing up in a fantasy keeps you trapped. You keep going back hoping this time will be different. You accept mistreatment. It says you accept mistreatment. Believing love is hidden underneath it. We accept mistreatment, y'all. Believing that it's love. If we love them harder, it'll change. It won't. It won't. You delay healing because you're waiting for them to become who you needed, y'all. God. You delay your healing because you waiting on them to become who you needed. That's deep. That is deep. Why grieving is necessary. Grieving the idolized family isn't about giving up on love. It's about accepting reality so you stop re-injuring yourself. Without grief, you stay stuck in hoop loops. It say hoop loops. Maybe they'll change if I try harder. I just said that. You stuck in a loop. Maybe they'll change if I try a little harder. If I go out and get this degree, I'm going to make them proud. I'm going to try a little harder. And then whoop, you be like, dang, I can't do nothing right. She don't appreciate nothing. Over functioning, over giving to earn scraps of love, over giving to earn scraps of love, repeating trauma bonds, chasing emotional closeness that never comes. Grief frees you. It's a grief frees you to see people as they are, not who you wish they were. Stop performing for love you will never receive. Reparent yourself and create safety within. What you grief here is layered. It's not just about losing people, it's about losing the illusion. Grieving the parent you needed, the protector who should have kept you safe, the nurturer who should have taught you self-worth, the listener who should have validated your feelings, grieving the sibling bond you wanted. The ally you thought you'd have in chaos, the closeness you dreamed of but didn't get. You grieve the childhood. You got to grieve the childhood you deserve. The freedom to just be a kid. The right to feel love without earning it. The ability to feel safe in your own home. Why is it such hard? Grief is complicated because it's mixed with love. You still deeply care for them. Anger, you're furious they couldn't show up for you. Guilt, you feel wrong for acknowledging the harm. And hope, a part of you still wants them to change. This emotional push and pull is what keeps people stuck in trauma loops. It says you have to accept what cannot be changed. This is the hardest part. You can't make someone give you what they don't have. You cannot rewrite the past. Healing means accepting that some wounds will never be acknowledged by those who caused them. Your wounds will never be acknowledged by the ones who caused them. Why? Because they don't think they did nothing wrong. That wasn't wrong how they raised you. They don't see wrong in that. So waiting on an apology, unless they can hold accountability, unless they can see awareness of what they done, right? Then they can call their children to the front and say, hey, I watch Life UnMothered every week and I'm learning something. That I carry patterns that I didn't even know was inherited to me. And I understand the way that you behave was a reflection of me. Right? Some people would never do that though. And you got to be okay if they never do that, because you have to go on with your life. You have to heal for yourself. You have to. Else you're going to keep being stuck. So it says when someone carries inherited trauma, they often have an unconscious desire for healing. But because they didn't have the tools, their nervous system seeks resolution by reenacting the original pain, which unfortunately creates more harm instead of ending it. It creates more harm instead of ending it, because our nervous systems is trying to react the original pain, right? So where the desire comes from. Humans are wired for completion. Humans are wired for completion. Your nervous system constantly seeks to resolve unfinished experiences. When trauma happens, it and isn't processed. It says when trauma happens and isn't processed, which we know our trauma is not processed because it's never been addressed. The emotions don't go away. They store in the body. The story stays open-ended, leaving your system searching for closure. You unconsciously look for solutions that resemble the original pain. Did you hear that? You unconsciously look for trauma. It says this isn't sabotage. This is your body attempting to heal what's broken. It says if your grandmother, this is an example, if your grandmother endured abandonment, your mother may unconsciously choose partners who are emotionally unavailable, trying to fix the abandonment by earning their love. Oh, that was me. Oh, Lord. Because the wound isn't healed, she repeats the same pain, and you mirror it too. That's what it says. That's what it says. Trauma reenactment happens when you relive the dynamics of past wounds, hoping for a different outcome. But without conscious awareness, you repeat the harm instead. Without conscious awareness, right? So that's what Mona do. That's what Life UnMothered do. Is we bring definitions to make you aware, right? You're drawn back into unsafe patterns because part of you believes if I can finally make it right, I'll finally be free. Right? It says in relationships, a woman whose father abandoned her chooses emotionally unavailable partners, unconsciously trying to rewrite the ending by making this person stay. That was me. Ooh. A man raised in chaos is drawn to high conflict relationships because calmness feels wrong. Yeah, calmness feels wrong for us. This is why we have so many unregulated emotions. This is why we having so many traumatic relationships. This is why it's so many partners taking the lives of their partners. Right? Because that was normalized to us. A parent growing up unheard, overcompensates by controlling every aspect of their child's lives. Or they repeat what was modeled: yelling, neglect, or emotional detachment, even when they swore they'll never become their parents. That was me. That was me. That was me. I always said I would never treat my daughter the way that my mother treated me, but me not understanding, I passed what was given to me. She didn't talk to me. I didn't talk to my daughter. She didn't tell me she loved me. I didn't tell my daughter I loved her. She didn't hug me. I didn't hug my child. Repeated patterns unconsciously. Unconsciously, y'all. It says why it leads to more harm. It says without awareness and tools, y'all. Reenactment traps you in cycles. You seek healing from people who resemble the wounds. I believe it was my sister that said, hurt people, but healing people heal people. Yep. It says, you repeat the pain, thinking this time it would be different. You pass the unresolved trauma down to the next generation. This is why families replay the same narratives: poverty cycles, toxic relationship patterns, addictions, and silence around pain. Right? The key is bringing the unconscious to light. We have to bring the unconscious to the light, y'all. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go over some scripts, of us adults. So I'm gonna go over some scripts real quick. It says right here, these will help you practice new language that feels authentic, firm, and unapologetic, right? Old family rules, what you were taught, new boundary scripts, what you can say instead, right? So it's gonna go from what you were taught to what you can say instead. Baby, the first one is the first one. Blood is thicker than water. You always have to put family first. That's the old rule. The new script, I love our family, but my mental and emotional health comes first. I can't keep sacrificing myself to keep the peace. Come on. Come on. It says, don't talk about family business. This is the old rules. What happens in this house stays in this house. What you can say instead. I decided to talk about my experience so that I can heal. Speaking my truth isn't betrayal. It's freedom. The old rule says, they're older than you, so you owe them respect. What you can say instead is, I respect myself to set boundaries, no matter someone's age or title. You can respect yourself to do that. Did I miss something? I think I missed something. But yes. So with that being said, y'all, it's 10 o'clock. I do apologize for the late start of the show tonight, but I want y'all to understand that we mirrored our parents. We mirrored them. Whether it was good, bad, traumatic, and all of the above, we mirrored that, right? And so our children are suffering because they're mirroring you, especially if you have never recognized your patterns. Everything that we hold is not bad, but a lot of it is unconscious and is trauma. A lot of it is unconscious and is trauma. So we have to understand and we got to recognize what we carry and what we are passing down so that we can put a disruption to that and break the cycle. It takes one in the family to start the healing cycle. Just one. But you got to be willing to do it. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy because you might have a whole family coming up against you like I did. I did. But I stood 10 toes down on what I believed in because I knew it wasn't right. And I knew it was something that I didn't want to pass to my daughter and my grandkids and the next generation that comes from me. I cannot save what happened before me, right? Because when it says that trauma was passed to us unknowingly without names, we were born with our hands out to get the trauma already, right? And it says that trauma was layered from generations before. If somebody can tell me how many generations came before them, let me know. Because at the end of the day, we don't know how much weight we was carrying on top of our own that we was putting on top of what was already given to us, right? So now it's time for us to take that jackhammer and bust that concrete down, that was layered on us, and we got to get up in there and we got to stir. We got to redo our foundation, because we came on a cracked foundation. But unless you want a solid foundation, you gotta break up some things. You gotta talk about some stuff. It ain't gonna be comfortable. It's not gonna be fun. But are you willing to make a change? Are you willing to say that it started with me? That I was the one to say, this not right. This is not right. And I'm not keeping a peace to keep somebody else comfortable. I'm not doing it. So God allowed me to create my family. Create the things that I needed in my life. And I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that. So with that being said, it's very important, and I'm just going to, I know I'm going over time, but Spirit is telling me to keep talking. It's very important to sit your children down. If y'all have a relationship with your child, if you have a somewhat relationship with your child, and if you still kind of keep in contact with your child, this might not work for the people like me that went no contact, because when I go no contact, there's no reconciliation. Like, it's just none, because I refuse to put myself back in a place that kept hurting me, especially if I had to heal from somebody. And I had to do that work, and I had to lay a different foundation. No, you're not entitled to come step on the new foundation that I have. And it's just what it is. But if you have still connection with your child, I would tell you and encourage you to bring your child in, sit them down, let them know what you grew up with, through. Because it's going to make sense to your child of the way that you act towards them. Because there's some kids that sitting in front of their parents right now, they can't stand you. And you don't give a damn, because I don't care about their feelings. I clothe and feed. I'm the one that clothe, feed, and put shelter on their back. That's what you say to yourself. But in actuality, your child is suffering in silence. They suffering, right? And so unless we sit down and normalize and normalize healthy conversations with our children, because we can set boundaries with our kids, and our kids can set boundaries with us. As long as we can have a discussion that is respectful with each other, we can talk. I'm trying to tell y'all, give your child permission to have a voice with you without feeling attacked, without feeling mad, without feeling, just without feeling. Just hear your child out. I promise you. And it might sting a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. If you allow your child to have a voice, you might hear some stuff that's gonna sit you down, right? And unless you open, because some parents, the first thing they go, I ain't do that. I ain't make you feel like. Your child is literally telling you how you made them feel. So how can you say I didn't? How? So with that being said, y'all, I pray that that you can really have a conversation with your child when they of age to understand, because we already now passed down traumatic experiences. Our children 3 and 4 years old, that's already in survival mode before they can have words, because we already know that yelling rewires our children's brain. So if that's what we got as a young child, that's what we passed on to our children, and it's just a cycle that keeps going. That's all it is, y'all. So with that being said, y'all do y'all research on mirroring when it pertains to generational trauma. I gave y'all a little bit, like I do every week. I gave y'all a little bit. Do your research. It's a word pertaining to generational trauma. I know we ain't never heard. It's strange. It's strange. Don't nobody just walk around talking about mirror, but it's new, right? It's new and it's knowledge. So with that being said, y'all, I'm out of here. And I do apologize again for tonight delay on the episode, but I made it happen regardless. Y'all, if y'all have not got y'all copies of Breaking the Cycle, I encourage y'all to go and get this, right? Because if you don't know the first steps to just having questions, this will help start your healing journey. Just the questions in here. Don't just read the book. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Y'all have a great night, great evening. Y'all be blessed. And remember, this isn't just a moment. This is a full moment. Y'all have a great night.